It's a revolution, well, you know. We all want to change the world. Yeah! You tell me that it's evolution, well, you know. We all want to change the world. But when you talk about destruction, hey, don't you know that you can count me out?
Hey Perry, this is Corey Isler with The Revolution, where we keep you informed, entertained, and thinking. Let's start things off. Markers are disappearing, hand sanitizer is no longer on teachers' desks, and whatever happened to the Elmer's glue? Is there a thief in the high school? Well, no. It's just Jared's Law. Many of you expressed your dissatisfaction with the new law. Courtney Crum, a junior here at Perry, writes that, "I think Jared's Law is a slap in the face to teachers. They have gone to school for many years to earn their degree, and it's not like they don't care about their students. The teachers just feel like they are being treated like little kids who can't handle any responsibility." Carrie Clark, also a junior, suggests many students learn best with hands-on experiences. Unfortunately, many chemicals have been removed because they are unsafe. Jared's Law is hurting my education. How can we stand behind a law that is inhibiting knowledge, experiences, and school life in general? Thank you for your comments. We look forward to hearing any other thoughts you have. We sent Rachel into the halls to see what others have to say on the issue. Rachel?
My opinion is that it is absolutely unnecessary.
First of all, it is a really tragic thing to happen to that little boy, and we all have to recognize that, but we're to the point now where logic has been completely thrown out the door.
There are a lot of things that our school has screwed up with Jared's Law. So
the problem with Jared, do you want to know what the problem with Jared's Law is? Overreaction.
I think it's a good law, but I'm not opposed to making everything safe, but sometimes you just never know how far it actually goes.
I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's killing our education.
It's trying to protect our students that don't need protecting.
Really, fish food and glue sticks, they're not hurting us.
Jared's Law is the freaking stupidest thing that I've ever heard ever, okay?
I would say that I agree with it. Obviously, we want to always be safe in schools.
And eventually, this is what's going to become of our country with stupid laws like that.
As always, our email here at Revolution is always open. Feel free to email us at revolution@perry1.spark.org. You might have noticed that I'm standing in the cafeteria. Well, that's because Jared's Law initiated in an incident in a cafeteria. Let's find out more on the story.
On Friday, December 19th, 2003, the lives of the Bennetts changed forever. It was 6 days before Christmas, and it was the children's last day of school before Christmas vacation. Their 6-year-old son, Jared, was attending an after-school program run by a local YMCA, and it was held in the cafeteria of Louisiana Wright Elementary School, where Jared was a first grader. Mrs. Bennett arrived to pick up Jared and was met at the entrance of the cafeteria by a young boy screaming, "Call 911, call 911, Jared's been hurt." In response, she rushed inside and was horrified to discover Jared on the floor, unconscious, bleeding severely. Just moments before her arrival, an upright 290-pound cafeteria table had fallen like a tree, hitting Jared in the head with over 8 tons of force as he played nearby. As Jared's parents strived to get over their grief, they made it a goal to raise safety awareness into schools. As of December 19, 2005, Governor Taft signed Jared's Law into action.
Jared's Law is mandated by the state, and it eventually drops down to the local Stark County Board of Health is our inspectors. So we'll have an inspector from the Stark County Board of Health does all our inspections.
These new regulations range from new cafeteria rules to how long mats have to be at all entrances. Shelving rules even have their own 2 pages of regulations. There must be a hands washing sign visible from every sink. Under Jared's Law, there are regulations for anything and everything.
You know, probably they meant well when they made this law, but as far as being feasible, that's probably another story.
Coming up, there's a mist coming back to town. Should you be worried? Find out after the break.
Perry High School, the epitome of academic excellence and visual elegance. Well, at least for the most part. But when that elegance isn't respected, we end up with this. Trash seems to be gathering around the school at an alarming rate. You can make a difference. Take pride in our community, and don't litter.
Welcome back. This week I reviewed The Mist, directed by Frank Darabont and written by the king of horror, Stephen King. Do not be fooled by this film's lackluster title.
Oh my God! Something in the mist! Shut the doors! Shut the doors!
After watching this film, I had one thing darting through my mind. This is a must-see. The Mist is a horror movie different from any other in its genre. Although most horror movies have a supernatural aspect to them, this one brings believable characters in the mix.
There's nothing out there. Nothing in the mist.
Unless you're wrong.
Then I guess the joke would be on me.
The story centers on a small town in Maine overrun by a thick mist after a violent storm. Through a sequence of events, a band of people eventually end up barricaded in a supermarket. Although the plot may seem a little thin, the different elements the film brings to the audience makes it the deepest horror film I've seen in a long time. As far as the characterization, it's simply amazing. Some critics believe that the characters become annoying by the end of the film. Although this is partly true, I believe that this was mandatory to the story to show the theme the story tries to bring. I think the biggest downfall of the film is its title. It has the burden of being so closely related to the 2005 oh so terrible The Fog. So, if you're ever in the predicament of picking a good horror movie, then take a look at this one. Overall, I give the film 3 out of 4 stars. You can pick up The Mist in stores today.
Welcome back. I'm Austin, and this is this week's Revolution Sports Report. Well, it's hard to believe that the spring sports season is halfway over, but so far our teams at Perry have been very successful.
Spring sports right here. Our softball team's off to a very good start, as well as our baseball team. Our track teams are strong in certain areas, and our Coach Mazzico, our boys track coach, and Coach Laubacher just do a fantastic job. Our boys tennis team under Coach Noack is right now currently in second place in tennis, and it's the highest they've been in a long time. So we really feel that we've had a good year so far.
The girls softball team has had a great first half of the season, distinguishing themselves as one of the top teams in the Federal League. After a non-league game at Ashland, they host Hoover in a game that could end up being between the two top teams in the standings. Hoover's softball team will be joined by their track teams and tennis team on Tuesday. Come out and support your Panthers as they try to send the whole North Canton community home with a loss. The baseball team looks to improve off of their first half as they are competing in the Gundy tournament this weekend. As for the Federal League, they get Boardman next week in 2 very important games. Well, if you haven't heard, former Glen Oak star and Ohio State standout, Kosta Koufos, has decided to take his talents to the NBA and forego his final 3 years in Columbus. We asked our own Kenny Freeze what his reaction was to the announcement.
Sort of surprised me. I don't know if he's going to go as high as he was projected before the season started, before the college basketball season started. I think he'll be a late first round maybe. You know, it could go either way depending on what the teams need as far as in the draft, but I think that as far as him leaving college, it was a good decision for him. So.
Well, that's all for this week. Tune in next week as we feature another Perry sports team.
Well, Perry, that's all the time we have today. Keep the emails coming and make sure to catch us next week.